morning, guys. How are you today? I am good, all the better for knowing that you are tuned in. So today I have just thought I should take you to our Sunday service here in Fort William, and we normally have 4 churches. The first one is the Catholic Church, the second one is the Baptist Church, then we have the Free Church, and then we also have the Free Church, Baptist Church, Catholic Church, Church of Scotland, and I'll remember the other one. But today, specifically today, we will be going to the Baptist Church because that is where I have always been going to since I arrived. And come with me as we look at how the service is normally conducted, okay?
We got him with hot bodies.
Heading to church now. So this is the Fort William Baptist Church. And then right over there is the one with the cross over there is the Catholic Church. So that's where we normally have the congregation seat, and then that's the section whereby you see there is camera. So what happens is that when we come to church, we normally start at 11 o'clock, and that's when the service starts. And then we have section whereby on the screen it gets projected on, you know, the reading of the day, what the preacher is preaching about. And then later we also have like music. What we're seeing is normally projected on the wall, so that helps us. If you don't know the lyrics, you can just read through it, and of course hymn, like get the tune of the song. So that is very good. You really don't struggle. And then the service is always normally recorded, and then after being recorded, it's normally posted on Facebook, which helps those people who are not able to come to church to, of course, know what happened in church, and it enables them to join in fellowship with the rest of us who are in church. So it's normally very lovely. Then after church, what happens is we go and have a cup of tea and some snacks, and it is normally very delicious things, nice things, you know, like good food that we are not used to in Kenya, just like some few snacks, very lovely. So we'll go have a look, and then and the sermon will of course be lovely. My sisters will not be coming today because they decided to go to the Catholic Church, which is just across the road. We are always coming to the Baptist Church, but today they decided to go to the Catholic Church. So yes, guys, let's enjoy the service together.
More regular, to be able to join together and share, worship, and rejoicing God's goodness once again today. I'm going to begin with some words from Paul's letter to the Corinthians, his second letter. I looked at 1 Corinthians last year. Look at verses from chapter 4, reminding us of the ministry that we have by the mercy of God. 2 Corinthians 4, beginning at verse 1. Therefore, having this ministry by the mercy of God, we do not lose heart. We have renounced disgraceful, underhanded ways. We refuse to practice cunning or to tamper with God's word. But by the open statement of the truth, we would commend ourselves to everyone's conscience in the sight of God. And even if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled only to those who are perishing. In their case, the God of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers to keep them from seeing the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. For what we proclaim is not ourselves, but Jesus Christ as Lord, with ourselves as your servants, for Jesus' sake. For God, who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. But we have this treasure in jars of clay, to show that the surpassing power belongs to God and not to us. We are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed, always carrying in the body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may be also manifested in our bodies. For we who live are always being given over to death for Jesus' sake, so that the life of Jesus also may be manifested in our mortal flesh. So death is at work in us, but life in you. Great imagery there at the end, reminding us that although our physical bodies are constrained and we anticipate one day will go on after and beyond the physical death of these human bodies. We're going to sing about how all that came about as we remind ourselves of the light of the world, who stepped down into darkness and opened our eyes and allowed us to see beauty that made his heart adore you, hope of a life spent with you.
Finding Nemo? Excellent. Very good. Almost everyone's seen it. In fact, I've got one kid dressed up almost in a Nemo suit with the orange and white stripes. Well prepared. So this morning, this is what it's all about. It's all about finding Nemo. Everyone knows that Nemo is an orange and white clownfish. Who knows what clownfishes live in? Yes, you put your hand up first. What the clownfishes live in? Yeah, very good. They do. They live in the sea, in the rocks. Verity, you've got a bit more to add to this. Yes, they live in sea anemones. And sea anemones are actually poisonous. Sea anemones are a creature with lots of tentacles that lives in the sea and stings anything that tries to touch it. So isn't that a strange place for clownfish to live? I'll get to you in a minute, Daniel. So to think about this and act it out and understand why would clownfishes live in sea anemones, I'd like everyone to dress up as a sea anemone. The sea anemones have lots of tentacles, got lots of kids, so everyone can stick on a high-vis jacket and be a sea anemone tentacle, please. you might notice that one jacket is a different colour. So you are Nemo. Have I got enough high-vis jackets? I thought I had so many. It's great having this number of kids. I apologise if you've not got a high-vis jacket. You'll just have to pretend you're wearing one. Okay, very good. So it doesn't matter if you've not got a jacket, you can still be a sea anemone. They come in all different colours. So if everybody except Nemo could stand in a circle close together to be all these tentacles of the sea anemone. Good job, everybody. That's it, Rob. It doesn't matter, it's a little bit tangled. It's perfect. Come and stand here to fill in this gap in the circle. Great, now Nemo, you have to go outside the circle. You can't come in yet. Make sure there's no gaps. Right, everyone stick your arms in the air and wave side to side so under the sea. These are your tentacles. Now, how is Nemo going to get in? These tentacles are all poisonous, stinging tentacles. Nemo isn't going to be able to get in without getting stung, is he? However, clownfish have a very special adaptation. They have a coat of mucus. Please put on the coat of mucus. And this means that clownfish are the only fish that can safely get into a sea anemone without being stung by the poison. So there you are, you just push your way through, and there you are, Nemo, completely safe inside the sea anemone, safe from any other predators that might come and try and get you because they'll be stung by the sea anemone. Now if you swim out again, safely, here to the circle. So this time we'll repeat it, but I want to think you to think that these are all people representing people that don't know Jesus. This is the world. The world out there can be poisonous, and there are people in the world that do things wrong. Some of those things might seem tempting for us as Christians. So as Christians, as people that love Jesus, the world can be a dangerous place. It's very easy to be in the world and start being pulled away from God and our relationship with Jesus by other people. But equally, God asks us to be in the world, befriending other people, letting God speak through us to other people about himself. How do we do that? God gives us armour. We all have a coat of mucus to keep us safe. That's not exactly how God talks about it. In the Bible you can read about the shield and the sword. But it's very important that when we're out in the world we're aware that we have God's armour protecting us. Not our own armour, but God's armour. So this time I'd like you all to wave your arms in the air. You're the sea anemone under the sea, but you're also the world, and there are things in you that are poisonous. And I would like you, Nemo, you're the person that loves Jesus. You are safe going into the world, being among these people, because you have God's armour upon you. So I'd like to leave you with just a few thoughts to summarise that. Are you going out into the world? Do you have friends that don't know Jesus that you befriend? Do you purposefully and intentionally put on God's armour when you're out into the world? Are you depending on God to keep you safe? Thank you, kids. Good job. Please chuck all your jackets back in this bag.
And was ensnaring them. Isn't that just a great picture of temptation and Satan's techniques? Something looks attractive, appealing, helpful, exciting, and perhaps for a while it provides just what is promised. But before very long, the excitement is gone and we are trapped in a routine and unable to walk away. These opening chapters try to very briefly set the scene of a rapidly growing nation within the nation of Egypt, who have become a problem and a concern, and therefore are treated harshly to keep them in line while providing just enough of what was needed to keep them in place. It seemed as though God was doing nothing to help. And the more time went on, the worse things seemed to get. You might say that with another 80 years for Moses to mature showed heartless inactivity as the people cried out. But as Wiersbe points out, they should have remembered God's promise from Genesis 15 that they would be in Egypt for 400 years. God was already working out the solution, and it would work out at just the time announced. During this time, God was preparing his people, but he was also demonstrating patience and waiting in mercy, giving the Canaanites time to repent. As is so often the case in our own lives, God was at work behind the scenes, working things out. Yet, I want us to consider some of the unusual tools that God used, or the unusual methods that he allowed. Now, I would say that careful listening may well be needed today so that you don't misunderstand what is said. We're going to be pushing the boundaries a little of what is considered normal Christian teaching and living, but I want us to notice the extreme circumstances that we're faced and the genuine heart of desire to please and honour God through it all. I want to reach back into the close of the last chapter a little first, because I really feel it fits with a bit of a pattern that we see in these verses. Let's consider then how God used, first of all, the midwives. We noticed in passing last time that they were unwilling to go through with Pharaoh's instruction to kill the baby boys that they delivered from among the Israelites. And through that decision, lives were saved. Chapter 1 verse 17 reveals that they feared God, though whether they actually believed in or trusted in the God of the Hebrews is not stated. They evidently had the decency, however, to know that what Pharaoh was asking was wrong. Maybe another instance of how God can use the lives and decisions of people even if they do not trust or follow him. As we look into the detail of what went on, though, it raises an interesting question, an issue someone raised in discussion after the service last week, and that is that of the possible lies. The midwives claimed the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women, for they are vigorous and give birth before the midwife comes to them. Now, the narrative is not clear. That very well may have been the case. But the context of God blessing the midwives because of their action, or specifically because of their lack of specific actions, seems to indicate that this was a story that they made up to get around the fact that they had disobeyed Pharaoh. Now, of course, the standard biblical teaching is that God has commanded us not to lie. And therefore, we would not expect God to bless or reward people who do. In this instance, however, God appears to do just that. And this is not an isolated case. In Joshua 2, we see another occasion when God appears to not simply allow, but to positively
So that was the end of our service. I hope you enjoyed it, and now we are heading to the place that is normally my favorite bit, where we get to have coffee and tea and just fellowship together. So let's go. Good, how are you? How is everyone? Oh, getting ready and well.
Which way are you trying to get to?
This is where we have our that's why we have our fellowship. Hiya, coffee please.
Should we use that?
All right, Angus. Oh, what do you want? I think that's everything I need. That's everything I need.